Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I am very excited to be doing a full face of e.l.f. and I want to take a look at some products I've used already and some that I haven't just yet and create a look for you all. Now, if you're familiar with my videos or my content in general, you know that I love e.l.f. and their products. e.l.f. is the brand that got me into thinking, into the headspace where I'm like, you know what, I want to try more drugstore, and everything I try from e.l.f. I'm always exceptionally impressed with. So I'm very excited to be doing this today. This video is sponsored by e.l.f, so I want to say a huge thank you to them. All the products I use today will be linked below for you. And if this is your first time here on my channel, hi, my name's Robert. I'm a professional makeup artist here on YouTube and also in real life, and it's my goal to help you become a pro yourself or just someone who's really good at makeup. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, just slow down, hey, then please consider subscribing. Okay, just before we get into today's video, I just want to give a shout out to an e.l.f. product that I'm not going to use in the video because it's skincare, but it's something I use behind the scenes. This is my second empty pot of this now, and I'll be on my way to buy another one. And this is the e.l.f. Supermask. This has been a lifesaver for my, I want to call it quarantine skin, because my skin hasn't been, it doesn't know where it's going in life. It doesn't know what it's doing. So for those times, I'm super oily, also dehydrated. So for those times when my skin is like extra confused, this has been a great mask. So just a shout out to that product, one of my absolute favorites. Okay, so let's get my skin ready. I've moisturized already and done everything else. I'm just going to start by using the Hydrating Coconut Mist. Now, oh, let me just do this. And I'm just going to let that sink in. I'm experiencing drier skin. And because I'm trying a new foundation, I want my skin to be as good as I know it can be right now in this moment. So I'm going to do a few little things just to kind of help my skin out. So next I'm going to use the e.l.f. Nourishing Oil. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the smallest amount. I'm going to take my dropper. I'm going to put a tiny bit on the back of my hand, literally like a small tiny bit. With my ring finger, I'm going to put that on and then just very gently tap with my other ring finger. And this is how I'm going to stop my under eye concealer creasing. Now, here's the key. I'm going to talk about this more next week, but hydration under the eye. I know we want to go in and powder our whole face and kind of almost feel like we're locking in that product, concealer I'm talking about. But if you get creasing, if your concealer really creases up, dehydrating it isn't going to help. Think about when you dehydrate something, it's like, you know, like a desert floor where it gets all crumbly and crusty. Now, I'm going to keep tapping this in until I don't see any residue left underneath the eye. I want to be hydrated and plumped, but I don't want to feel that oil texture on the skin. And this oil is great for doing that because it doesn't, I've used this over my whole face before, and as an oily person, I've had no issues. It doesn't feel like a greasy oil, you know? I'm gonna tap a tiny little bit in these like inside crevices right here because I know I get dry right there too. Okay, so perfect. I feel nice and hydrated under my eye. Now I'm using 2 separate primers on my face. This is a technique a lot of people use, but I do think it's a really important thing. I always say this, and sorry for repetition, but primers for me are needed. I know a lot of people don't think they are, but primers for me are needed when they are needed. So if my skin is extremely dehydrated one day, extremely porous, I'm going to use a primer to kind of help me out, you know? It's like a cheat. Well, yeah, I guess it is. So I'm just going to go in with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And I'm just going to, first we'll start by just kind of rubbing on a base layer. And I'm doing my nose only for me because that's where I know most of my texture sits when it comes to pores. And I do prefer this one over more like silicone-y, like those silky, smoothie primers, because I feel like those give more of a slip on my oily skin, but also at the same time kind of grip to dehydrated skin. So this is my preferred option for more porous texture. Now I'm just going to push that into the skin and right around these little bits here. Ooh. And you have probably seen me use this every time I do a video where I do my makeup. And this is the Mint Melt Cooling Primer. This is going on my cheeks and forehead. And again, with primers, I'm looking for primers that create a barrier, like a shield for my skin against makeup. Not against it, to work with it, but to kind of like block for any texture on my skin. So that's why I'm kind of concentrating it more on my cheeks here that tend to be how do you describe it? It's like it's textured and dry, and same with the middle of my forehead here. So I'm not worrying too much about roundy edges. I'm just really focusing that primer right on the middle. I think when we think of face products, we feel like it has to go absolutely everywhere. You can absolutely customize where you use your product. Okay, so let's do eyes. I like to do my skin prep first, leave it to kind of work with the skin and do its thing, and do my eyes and then see how my skin is after. If I feel drier in any area, if I look excessively oily in any area, then I know I can follow it up maybe with something a bit more mattifying, or I can blot excess oil or add more hydration if I need to. So let's go straight in with the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. This has been my absolute favorite. You can see I've made a big dent. Oh, you can't see it really. A big dent in it. Now, the key to using this, I love a good sticky primer, a thick primer. So the key to using this one is body temperature. You can swish a brush around in it, but I like the warmth from the finger to kind of warm up the products. So I take my finger and I'm not like moving around. I'm just kind of like wobbling my finger and getting some heat going. So this will make the product really easy to kind of move around the lid. And I do prefer to apply it just with my fingertip. But you see how smoothly it goes on now, like butter? And if you do have quite textured eyelids, like me, I'm textured in here, I pat on this area. I don't mind giving like a little wipe around here, but when I'm in this area, I'm tapping, and it's a little bit less destructive than wiping and moving the skin, you know? Perfect. So just a nice even coverage, evening? Like it's the evening, that's it's even. The skin tone on a lid is even. So I'm gonna go in with one of the Mint Melt Eyeshadows. These mini palettes are incredible. This is from a collection, but the regular line is absolutely stunning. I was actually very pleasantly surprised with these the first time I used them. I don't know what I was expecting, but again, before using e.l.f, I was a little bit like, oh, I'd rather not use drugstore, but e.l.f changed me. So I'm gonna go in with a deeper shade here, and we'll just start that right on the outside corner. And I kind of want to go, well, of course, darker to lighter, but I want to go light as in like a shiny light. And I'm kind of keeping all the shape like within my brow line today. I don't want to take it too far out, even though my brows at the moment are terribly uneven. I messed up trimming my eyebrows, and now I'm trying to hide it. Look at that. You know what? They grow back. Okay, so then I'm going to take the lighter green and take that right to the inside corner here. Love those greens. Okay, let's take this lighter shade right here and just tap that right on the inside. Oh, e.l.f. Yes. Okay. Ooh, I love that. Okay, so let's finish up the skin because I want to do some detailing under the eye. Okay, so let's take a look at the Flawless Brightening Concealer. I have quite a few shades here. So the Flawless Brightening Concealer contains hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. So you know when I was talking about keeping that under eye plump and hydrated, hyaluronic acid is going to do exactly that. So we're not going to experience that intense creasing on me anyway. And hopefully with the oil I showed you before would also help you out with that. So they are quite lightweight for concealer, again, which for me is great under the eyes. I don't like a heavy concealer that grips and kind of drags down the skin. That's another way it creases. But also, of course, you can use to highlight and sculpt and define the face, even if you're doing like a natural look, because the formula is more lightweight. So I want to show you what I do under my eyes with these shades, because I feel like when we think about covering dark circles, our immediate go-to is to brighten or to use like a crazy like orange color corrector. You don't have to do that. Even if you have darker circles, grab a concealer that is deeper than your skin tone. So this has been used, so sorry the tip is a little bit, well, I mean, it's used, that's what makeup looks like. So about 1 or 2 pumps. And where I'm a little bit darker, we lost an hour's sleep last night. I know, we're all going through it. What a difference an hour makes though. I'm exhausted. Anyway, I focus the deeper shade in the areas that need that tiny bit of concealing. So you know I love to do the inside corner here, outside corner, just in general when I'm doing concealer. And then here I'm aiming to cover this whole area. I need a little bit of help right there. Right here too. Now remember, orange color correctors aren't like the answer for everyone. A concealer that has that kind of red tone to it also works, or just grab a darker concealer with a red tone to it, a red undertone. So I'm just gonna tap that into place. And you can absolutely do the same thing with your finger. Actually, it's probably a bit better if you use your finger because the warmth of your body temperature. And I'm tapping that into place first. I'm not dragging it across. I'm just tapping it exactly where we left it and making sure the edges are blended seamlessly. And I'm not going right up here. I'm not like giving myself a facelift or anything like that. Just tapping in those areas. And to be fair, that could be me now, just done. If I just wanted my eyes to blend with the rest of my skin tone. However, I do want them to appear a little bit brighter because I'm tired. So now we can go in with a lighter shade, because if we put something too light on top of a dark under eyes, we get this grey tone. So that was medium 32N I used under my eyes there. Now I'm going to go in with Fair 15W and just gently build that up. Now when we're thinking of brightening the eye area, same again. A bit here, tiny little bit. I know it's lightweight, but it is still concealer, so it does still have that good coverage. Again, I want to highlight, so let's look for those areas that seem a bit sunken. And we can actually go back over our foundation with that as well. I just want to give it like a little boost. But can you see how these kind of blend really flawlessly into the skin? So if you were just having a day where it's like, you know what, I want to make a few spot corrections, but I don't want to go full face, this will be absolutely perfect. See? Let's drag this down a little bit here. And I am just using that to slightly cut off the eye makeup on the corner there. So moving on to foundation, let's talk about the Camo CC Cream. Now, a lot of people, I got so many messages asking me to test this. Actually a little while back now, but here we are now. So it has a medium to full coverage and it's color correcting CC. And again, it has that hyaluronic acid, so it's going to lock in that moisture. All that skin prep we did before, it's going to keep our skin nice and bouncy and keep that nice kind of skin prepped texture. It's also infused with collagen, and it also has, I can never say this, niacinamide, which is like, let's face it, the last 2 years is like this miracle ingredient that we didn't all know we needed. And now I regret not knowing I needed it. So let's give this a go. I'm using the shade Light 240 and pump a little bit on the back of the hand there. Oh, I think I used too much there. I kind of underestimated the coverage. I think we see CC cream and we're like, natural blends very well. Perfectly, actually. So this comes in 20 shades. And the thing about CC creams, I find you can always go one lighter or one darker and it doesn't really matter. God, my skin is behaving today. Anyone who tells you that prepping your skin for makeup isn't necessary, they're liars. They are lying to you and they don't want you to succeed in life. Yeah, this feels amazing on the skin. It's so nice to have like just a nice little glow to the skin. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go, I don't think I need to highlight anymore. I think I'm good. Let's just finish up under the eyes very quickly. I'm going to shuffle. So I'm actually going to take the No Budge eyeshadow. This is like an eyeshadow stick. I'm just going to run that under the eye. And just blend it out quickly before it settles. Eyeshadow sticks, once they set, that's it. No budging. They make great eye primers, actually. My little tip, if you're really tired, just bring your eyeshadow down really far. And then you're all good. No one's ever gonna know. I kind of want to bring that, the green. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Now I'm going to move on to the e.l.f. Putty Blush. These are some of my absolute favorite blushes. I've got really like heavy into cream blush at the moment. I think we're going through a phase, right, everyone, where we want cream everything. We want our skin to just look as healthy as possible. So I've chosen 2 shades. I've gone for more of a deeper orange tone and then a kind of a pinkier tone. And I want to kind of sculpt a little bit with those tones by using the deeper orange underneath and then a pinker on top. Now you can absolutely use your fingers. I'm going to use the same brush that we use for foundation just because it's going to help kind of blend everything together. And I'm going to build this just underneath my cheekbone here. Now I have a longer face, so I personally like to round off my face a little bit just by bringing up that color here. Can you guys hear my chair creaking? Yeah. So just tucking it right under the cheekbone and bringing it to about here and then lifting up slightly, just like this shape. And then connecting that, well, to my beard. If I didn't have a beard, I wouldn't bother, but because it creates like a sharp line, I need to like connect everything there. There's something about cream products and the way they blend with the skin, and actually the way the foundation is working with the cream product, it just all melts together. Okay, I'm going in with a lighter pink, and I'm going to build that up just on the top here. Putting color just here again is going to give us another little lift. Okay, so let's move on to the Lash It Loud Mascara. Now, again, I'm sorry for repetition. If you listen to my podcast that I do with my brother, if you have seen any of my videos, my favorite things videos, you're going to see this many, many times. So the Lash It Loud Mascara is all about volume and boldness, making your lashes look fuller and longer, and it also has intensely dark pigment. So if mascara has deeper pigmentation and you have that definition, it makes the lashes look more defined and it makes the lashes look deeper and fuller. The brush captures every single lash, and it kind of, when you first look at it, it kind of just looks like, oh, it's like a brush. But if you look further down, there's smaller brush strokes, and you have, of course, like the ball on top there as well. But there's these smaller ones that are really going to grip the lash as you comb it through. So that way you can get a lot more definition. Mascara, when you're using mascara, don't just whack it through. Hold it like, obviously, a mascara wand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll forward. At the same time, I'm going to zigzag through. So I'm going to roll and zigzag, back again, roll and zigzag through the lashes. That way we are capturing every single lash as we go through. And you can actually feel it almost pull on the lash, which is what we want, because then we know we're getting a good grip and a good comb through those lashes. Yes, give me volume. Oh, there they are. Oh, it's definitely given my lashes a lot of definition. I burnt these lashes years ago and I've just never grown back the same since. I'm going to do a little bit on the bottom. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, now considering my lashes are absolutely terrible and point down, because it's giving me such a nice lift to the lash. Okay, so for the lips, I'm going to take the Flawless Brightening Concealer, and this is the shade Deep 53W, and I've previously used this to kind of bronze a little bit. I'm just going to tap this on the inside here. Now, I wouldn't usually put concealer on the lips, but a concealer with hyaluronic acid in, we're good. And then I'm just going to go in with this gloss that has more of a greeny kind of shine to it. That smells so good. And there we have it, a full face of e.l.f. I absolutely adore this foundation. It looks so natural on the skin. It looks like it has a natural glow to it, a nice shine. I was going to add highlight, but I kind of like that it just catches the light and looks like good skin. I hope you loved exploring those products with me and trying a few new things out and a few of my favorite things out again. Like I said, I'll leave a link for everything below for you to go ahead and check out yourselves. Yes, so thank you so much for joining me. And thank you again to e.l.f. for sponsoring today's video. And I will see you very soon. Bye.